$1 divided by 0.05 is 20. Take $10 times 200 units times 12, divided by the cap rate of 5, you got $600,000. Now, they didn't show this to me in school. And I have friends that have finance degrees. I have people that work with me, that work for me right now, that have finance degrees. They never covered that, ever. They cover that in your master's classes. So as an engineer, or even a basic bachelor's of science in business, you don't learn that because society doesn't want you to know that.
Kind of go from there.
Yeah, I started out as a passive investor. My first partner, he was the GP. So even though I was the operating arm, I got none of that GP fee, none of the sponsor fee. I was an LP with everybody else. So I put $200,000 in my first deal. And back then, $200,000 was roughly 25% of all my net worth. That's why I quit my day job so I could go and work the $200,000, right? Like that guy, that farmer. I'm going to work this field. I have to, it's got to work for me. Well, what do you know? It starts to refinance a couple years later. And in the meantime, I put another seed down, $200K. And then before long, I got a third seed down. I did like 6 deals before I ever bought my first deal. So I had 6 passive checks coming in. And what would happen is those deals were refinanced. I made sure they refinanced because I was the operating arm. I quit my day job because I'm like, dude, I've got to protect this. This is all the money I have in the world. This is 25% of my net worth. And once I got comfortable, I did it again. 8 months later. First year was December of 07. Next year was August of 08. That now committed me to $400,000. Then a few months later, I put another $150,000 that was in my 401k in a self-directed IRA. The next year, the first deal refinances. And I thought, wow, this works. I got my $200,000 out, and I still own the deal. So then I put it back to work and bought something else. A year later, another one refinanced. And my wife at the time was like, wait, how are you making this money? Is this smoke and mirrors? Because she was an engineer too. She didn't understand the magic formula. She didn't understand what's called the forced appreciation, where $1 of NOI divided by a cap rate, let's say of 6, is 17. $1 of NOI divided by a cap rate of 5 is now 20. So a $10 rent bump on a 200-unit property divided by one of those cap rates, divided by a cap rate of 6, gets you $400,000 in new value. Let me slow that down again. A $10 rent bump on 200 units is $400,000 of NOI, new valuation. At a 5 cap, same rent bump, it's $600,000. So most of your audiences are accredited and they're smart. And I bet they can do simple multiplication. $1 divided by 0.05 is 20. Take $10 times 200 units times 12, divided by the cap rate of 5, you got $600,000. Now, they didn't show this to me in school. And I have friends that have finance degrees. I have people that work with me, that work for me right now, that have finance degrees. They never covered that, ever. They cover that in your master's classes. So as an engineer, or even a basic bachelor's of science in business, you don't learn that because society doesn't want you to know that. Because you're too smart to realize, shoot, why am I working for corporate America, investing in stocks and bonds, because corporate America and my mom and dad told us to do that, when I could be taking that and putting it into multifamily and creating wealth. So I paid $10,000 to that mentorship club to learn that concept. And once I ran it for a little bit of time, I got, oh my God, I'm making all this money, right? It was on paper, but it's real. It's there, and you see it when you get a 100% tax-free refinance event, and you're like, I got my $200,000 back. I could never have done that in the stock market. And if I listened to mom and dad and never quit my day job, I never would have learned this. See, you have to take a risk in life. You got to be willing to give up something of great value at that point in your life to get something of greater value. That's the law of the world. I don't know how it works. I don't know what it is, but I've seen it again and again and again. The universe, the world, God will replace what you have lost. That's why they always say, if you love it enough, let it go. And if it's worth it, it'll come back to you. If it's not, you're going to get something better.